So what kind of dad are you? I'm a permissive dad. However, I also have high expectations of my children. For instance, my son just asked me if he could remove the mosquito thing from the window. So I said, sure, go ahead. And then, of course, he didn't know how to do it, so I had to teach him. And then, of course, I told him, hide it so that when the spouse comes, this is the garage where I live, but hide it so that when the spouse comes, she won't notice it and start making a fuss about it. That's why I recommend that you live alone, especially if you are about to get married. Go ahead, get married, get divorced in the same 30 days, and live alone, because life is just better that way. When they come over to visit, they don't come to rearrange the furniture. One time, a spouse, yes, she told me, my cousins, they go to France, they go to Italy, they go somewhere. And I answered, we cannot go to Walmart together without arguing. If I take my mother, then it gets worse, because she wants me to park over here in the handicap. All the handicap are taken, or some other to park closer. So the way I do it is I say, I'll drop you off and I'll go park. But that only worked a little while. It was just such a hassle each time that I said, well, forget it, I'm not going. One time I grabbed a can of peanuts and I followed the spouse all around Walmart because she gets $500 in food stamps. And I said, come on, please buy this. An old man and an old woman finally stopped by and said, please buy it for him. Who is it for that you're buying it? Because he heard, it's for your mother, right? Yes. She's going to such a state. And then he said, oh, they're not going to give her peanuts on the airplane. Please buy it for her. So that was the only reason that the spouse bought them for me. So now let's talk about parent involvement in schools. There are 15 questions. And you have to, of course, I imagine they got the right answers. You have to fill in the blank. All right? I used to be a substitute, and before that, probably when I picked this up, I was a janitor. 1. A telephone call made by a teacher to a parent to communicate praise and support for the child is referred to as a sunshine call. 2. Your writing style in a newsletter should match the blank level of the parents, educational level of the parents. 3. Blank blank refers to patterns of participation in educational programs by parents. Parent involvement. 4. To have successful parent-teacher conference, you must first spend time planning. 5. When you use a parent's name in conversation to improve your memory, you are using the process of reinforcement. 6. A letter or newsletter should be written using the active voice. 7. Information on problems parents may face can be organized into a blank blank problem solving file. Or is that pile? 8. Teachers get the most from parent volunteers when they provide blank session, an orientation session. 9. The blank 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 is a written communication for parents that contains news about events and occasions at the center. Daily news flash. 10. Letters sent to parents often include the blank of the week, theme, the theme of the week. 11. Blank are written communications that often address only one subject and are put out on an as-needed basis. Newsletters are written communications that often address only one subject and are put out on an as-needed basis. 12. It is best to begin and end the parent-teacher conference with a blank comment. Positive. 13. A problem that often occurs in group discussions is that groups begin blank among themselves. Debating. Group discussions. 14. When meeting with parents, the teacher should always model blank behavior. Professional. 15. Blank are written communications that include information concerning a variety of topics and are put out on a regular basis. Letters. Letters are written communications that include information concerning a variety of topics and are put out on a regular basis. Alright, so here's another one from Strong Families. They speak nicely to each other and they listen to each other. Alright. So again, Christians have a real hard time because nobody wants to read the Bible, nobody wants to go to church. What else? Everybody's got a plan for what they want to do. And everybody, well, except the spouse, has the attitude, you don't expect me to clean that, do you? So we need a nanny here. And that's what grandma is. But grandma, she says, if you don't support me in this, then the kids are not going to listen. In one time, my son, she offered my son a napkin. And he said, no, thank you. And he dried his hands like this. And then grandma got upset and she walked off to her room to eat her dinner. I'm glad we were having dinner together. But I taught my children that they don't have to obey me exactly every time. Because if they become super obedient, then how are they going to say no to prostitutes later? How are they going to say no to drug dealers that say, oh, try it? Now, when I was offered a joint, I was 16 years old. And I had been offered before, but this one was on the street. I went dancing. And it looked like a broken cigarette that the lady had just picked up off the floor. So I said, no, thank you. That was easy to say no, thank you. I mean, that thing looked like it was going to collapse and everything. Oh, and she said to buy it, which is different. I had maybe $10, maybe $15, who knows. Yeah, I didn't like going to that Medusa club in Chicago, because the girls, they used to walk around with one of them walked around with a cigarette hanging from her hand, and she didn't even look at you. She looked drunk, and she was gonna burn you if you didn't get out of her way. I was like, what the, I'm getting out of her way and everything, and she's just walking around like that. And at the same time, after the Monday or something, that one guy told me, you went to that club? Watch out, some of those boys look like girls. And I had not seen transvestites before. So, I mean, there are 1,000 things you gotta tell your kids about, make sure she's a girl if he's a boy. They just look strange and pretty.
Down.
And so you gotta know what you're looking at.
I got $3.22 just in all of this.
Congratulations.
I thought so.
Take care of yourself.